In a survey of attitudes towards public schools in a particular county, 1,200 out of 1,500 Hispanic parents had a favorable opinion of their schools. In the same survey, 700 out of 1,100 African American parents had a favorable opinion about their schools. Does this information suggest that there's a difference between the beliefs of the two groups of people about their schools? Perform an appropriate statistical test to make your decision at the 1% significance level. Show your work and write a sentence. Put your answer in the context of the problem. All right. So what do we have? We've got the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. The null is that these two groups of people believe alike about the schools. So the proportion of Hispanics minus the proportion of African Americans is equal to 0, so that they believe the same thing. The alternative is they believe different things, right? And so it says, do they believe the same or do they believe different things? So this is going to be a two-tailed test. So the proportion of Hispanics minus the proportion of African Americans is different from 0. So let's see, do we have an independent simple random sample, and do we have the normality assumption? Well, independent simple random sample, they told us that it's a random sample, so we assume simple random. We have to assume that we have more than 15,000 Hispanics and more than 11,000 African Americans in the population. So we're going to assume that those are true. Normality assumption we can check for. N times P is 1,200. N times Q would be 300, right? Clearly bigger than 10. 700 and 400, clearly bigger than 10. So the normality assumption is okay. So now we write our formula, right? So our z-score is equal to, let's see, what are our p-hats? So we've got 12, quit out of here, 1,200 out of 1,500, so that's 0.8. So p-hat sub h is equal to 0.8. P-hat sub a is equal to 700 out of 1,100. So that's 0.636. So our z-score is going to be 0.8 minus 0.636 minus 0, because that's our null, divided by the standard deviation, which is going to be the square root of 1 over the sum of the sample sizes, so that's 1,500 plus 1,100, times p combined, q combined, and p combined is going to be, let's see, we have 1,200 plus 700 out of 1,500 plus 1,100. So that's 1,900 out of 2,600, which is 73%. So this will be 0.73, and this is the Q combined, which is going to be 0.27. And so now I've got my formula. So now I'm going to go stat, test, to proportion z-test, and type in what I know. So it's 1,200 out of 1,500 and 700 out of 1,100. And we're doing a two-tailed test and calculate it. And I get a z-score of 9.29. And so the probability that our z-score is that big or bigger is approximately 0. 1.5 times 10 to the negative 20th. So there's very little chance that this would have happened by random chance alone. All right, so what decision do we make? This is a tiny p-value, obviously smaller than 1%, therefore we reject the null, and we conclude the two populations have different beliefs or different opinions about their schools. And we're done.